Juliann West first heard about Serenbe in 2014 when her brother and sister-in-law tried convincing her to move here. However, at the time, she didn't think she could ever leave her adopted home of Seattle or the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Flash forward 4 years, and Juliann found herself back in Serenbe's orbit in 2018. This time, she was the newly appointed general manager of the Inn and the Farmhouse, a very demanding role that she handles with incredible calmness and composure. In fact, it's not uncommon to hear Juliann is the best multiple times a day from multiple departments around Serenbe. This week, Stephanie Coyne from HR is back to chat with Juliann about her approach to team building, her calm, cool, and collected demeanor, and the type of employee that tends to thrive at Serenbe.
I wish that I could say it's this mantra and meditation that I do every morning and tell myself I'm going to go in and be the best leader I can be today, and I'm going to be there for everyone. Unfortunately, it's not that. It's just I genuinely care about them. They genuinely care about me, which I think makes it easy. I truly do have a fantastic team.
Hi, Juliann.
Hi, Stephanie.
I am so thrilled to have you here, and so thrilled that I can't believe they're letting me do this again. So it's a win-win for me. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little nervous to be following up Gil, but I feel like I can take him.
Oh, you're going to be fine.
Fantastic.
So, Juliann, you and I have known each other, I don't know if you did this math before today, almost 5 years.
I think actually we've known each other almost 6 years.
Oh, come on.
Seriously.
What year were you hired here?
2018.
Okay. And for some reason, I didn't do that math. Oh, yeah. April 2018.
We have to have known each other that long because my 6 years coming up in April.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow. That's my job to know that.
You are HR, right?
That's right.
Your job is to support me and know me very well.
Yes. Over 5 years. Yeah. But I was thinking, even in all of that time, you've probably told me this, and maybe I know, but are you actually from Georgia?
I am originally from Augusta, Georgia. Lived there until I was 7 years old.
And then where did you move?
We moved to Greenville, South Carolina. Then I went to college in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then I moved to Seattle, to LA, to Vegas, to Serenbe.
That sounds like everybody's direct route to Serenbe.
I feel like it is.
Yeah, it tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we end up finding you to be our general manager at the Inn and Farmhouse?
So in 2014, my brother and his wife bought a property in Serenbe because Sarah Beth fell in love with this place. And it actually went into the Inn rental program. Gloria and I came home for Thanksgiving in 2014, and my brother said, Juliann, I found this little hippie commune you're going to love. And I said, well, you may think I'm going to love it, but I will never leave the West Coast to come back to Georgia. So then fast forward about 4 years from that, I was in LA. I was ready to come back to this side of the world. My parents were getting older. They're in great health, but I still wanted to be near them as they are amazing. Hope you're listening. And I was telling Sarah Beth that I think I want to come back to Georgia. And she said, really? That's great. And then she called me the next day and said, hey, Serenbe's hiring a GM, and I've given Garney your resume.
It's so funny. And how I remember like a second layer of that is either you had applied or I found you maybe on Indeed, but I had just given your resume to our then CEO, Brandon Blanchard. And we were reviewing it, and Garney came into the Hill holding your resume like a diploma, like in front of her, like a framed thing saying, I found her. And we were like, well, that's a very
Wait, does that mean I was actually a unicorn?
You are, not were, you are a unicorn.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
We look for those a lot.
Yeah. I didn't know that you didn't know that other part of it.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, that is a great story. And I was going to ask you about your lovely parents, whom I've met.
Yes, they are
now live maybe a little bit closer to us.
Yes. So my brother and Sarah Beth live in Sonoy, and my parents decided to downsize from Augusta, Georgia, thankfully, because you did not know how much stuff that your older parents could accumulate in a 6,000 square foot house, but I helped them move out of it. And wow, is all I can say. I hope I never live in more than 1,800 square feet because it's pretty intense. But they actually bought a house that adjoins my brother's property. So my whole family is now we've never all lived in the same state other than when we were children, obviously. So it's really neat to be able to just run over and see my brother or see my parents.
How
It's very
ironic.
special.
Now I feel like your brother has actually built the hippie commune that he originally was luring you here with.
Never in his life has Jonathan West's name been said in the same sentence as hippie commune. So I'm glad we're doing it on this podcast.
I do know enough about him to know that
Yes.
that's not going to go well.
Yeah, it's good. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Okay, so 5 years ago, just before I met you, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you were doing before we did find the unicorn?
Yes. After I got out of college, even before I got out of college, I started working in bars and restaurants. My parents were very proud and were hoping one day I would stop, but I did not. And I started working at the Westin in Charlotte in a hotel. And that's kind of where I fell in love with hotels and stayed at that property and worked my way up just to a manager of 5 outlets in that property. We then, Gloria, my partner, got a great job offer in Seattle, which I'd never even been to the city, but I knew I wanted to get out of the South. And so Seattle sounded like the place I knew I wanted to be, even without visiting it. So I went with her on her interview and instantly fell in love with the city. The Pacific Northwest is still, I mean, there's 2 places that I can say truly I feel connection to, and it's the Pacific Northwest and Serenbe. But when Gloria was in her interview and having to do that stressful day, I just got to walk around the city and I knew this is where we were supposed to be. So I put my notice in. We moved without me having a job. And I mean, it's hospitality. I knew I could find a job.
Right.
Ended up working for a really great hotel in Seattle called Pan Pacific Hotel. I was the director of food and beverage there. It's just kind of like Serenbe had just fell into place. And my director of HR knew the HR director where Gloria was working. And she said, I mentioned Gloria in my interview and she called and they said, well, if she's anything like Gloria, hire her. So thanks, Gloria. You got me that first big job.
Shout
That's
out to
great.
Gloria.
Yeah, thanks. And then we decided to move to LA where I knew I wanted to be a GM. But at that point, all of my experience had been in food and beverage. So the hotel that I went to work for in Beverly Hills, the GM happened to be my old GM from Charlotte, North Carolina. And he said, I'll let you run my front office team. So I went in as director of front office and did something completely that I knew nothing about. So it was really exciting / scary to jump into a part that at that time did not come naturally for me, but it was a lot of fun. And the next job I took was at Serenbe. So it was definitely a great experience. And here I am at my favorite job ever.
And who knew? I think that's such a classic Serenbe story, even though that really wasn't about Serenbe, but it was like you didn't really know that all of those little pockets of experience were going to make you into this jack of all trades, which I say is like the team member who thrives at Serenbe.
Agree.
Is the person who can pivot, or like the Swiss Army knife, right? Who's like, let me get out the appropriate appliance to,
Yes.
put on the right hat or whatever that thing is, that you almost can't come here with a singular mission or idea or experience, et cetera. But we really do love to find the unicorns that have that variety.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think that having the hotel corporate background is great. It taught me some of the structure that I really kind of bucked against the whole time I was in it. But then to get to come to a place like Serenbe where you're allowed to be super creative and create your own rules has been very fun for me.
Yeah.
Especially
you and
to
I
create your own rules.
That's right. Which is where I come in.
Yeah. Yes. Thankfully, you're far away from our operation. You're not there with us every day to see what goes on.
Nobody wants me anywhere every day. Yeah,
Kidding.
I get it.
We love you.
I get it.
You come over anytime you want. Yes.
Okay, so now you've left corporate hotel life and you've come to work with us here in the woods, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
And as the general manager of the Inn and Farmhouse, I think it might be good to explain to our listener, what does that even mean? What does a general manager, particularly of the Inn and Farmhouse, do?
Wow. That's never the same on any given day.
Oh, I even made a note here. Maybe it's easier to say, what doesn't a general manager do?
I don't know that there is anything here at Serenbe that we don't do. But again, that's my favorite way to be. I mean, there's definitely things that I know way more about septic tanks than I ever wanted to know. I didn't even know what a septic tank was when I moved here. There's just things that they can't train you for here. But it's just, I truly love every day that I am there. There's challenges, but I kind of like them. When the power goes off, it's exciting. When the internet goes out, it's exciting. Yes, I think that I agree with you. You kind of have to be that person that's a little, I don't want to say weird. I don't think I'm that weird, but a little different to really thrive in this existence if you want to work here.
Right. You can't really be completely linear.
Correct. Or even a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Right. I mean, I think that's even true of our accounting department, which is by any definition, a linear position.
Agree.
Right. And things equal other things. And at the end of the day, it evens out. But even they have to be thinking outside the box
Correct.
a lot of times.
That is definitely true.
So you have a little over 100, close to 100 team members, the Inn and Farmhouse. Housekeeping department, let me know if I'm leaving anything out. Food and beverage at the farmhouse, guest services, the maintenance team, concierge, shout out to Edgar.
Yeah, definitely a shout out. Sales.
And your sales
and a
team.
gardening team.
Oh, love them.
They're fantastic.
They're so great.
If you haven't seen the in-grounds lately, you should check them out because they do a tremendous job.
Yeah.
Kind of continuing that vision that Steve and Marie had in the beginning. It definitely looks more like it did when I'm sure they were there than it ever has since I've been there. Gardening is not my thing, but they do a great job. Speaking of unicorns, good job, Lydia.
Yeah, that's great. And the one department I didn't mention because there aren't any humans in it is what I would call the animal village department.
Yes.
You yourself have 2 very, very tiny dogs that I just met the other day.
That's the first time you've ever met them?
That's the first time I've ever met them.
Holy cow. I thought everyone knew them.
One of them did not enjoy meeting me.
One of them does not enjoy meeting anyone other than myself or Gloria. And my parents.
I took that in.
Yes. Annabelle does love my parents, but that's lots of treats and babysitting later.
Yeah. But what I know about you is you are an animal lover.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hence the reason I don't eat meat. We love animals. Gloria, while we don't have a team for the animal village, Gloria does volunteer a day a week on her day off to kind of take care of the animals because she doesn't think that I do a good enough job. I feel like I do, but we did just get
generous.
12 new chickens and a rooster. You haven't seen those guys. Yes.
They haven't.
So they're pretty exciting. And they're rebuilding all the structures in the goat pen now. But again, stuff that I didn't do in Beverly Hills. We didn't have goats.
Yeah. And in case anybody from any kind of animal society is listening to this, we do take care of the animals 7 days a week.
Crazy take care of them.
They are fed and cared for.
Yes.
But Gloria volunteers 1 day a week to do special projects.
Correct. We have a team that feeds them and waters them and brushes them. We had the farrier there today. We are definitely up to standards. Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not saying the word unicorn too much, but do you still
I do not have a unicorn.
The goat unicorn?
Yes, Uni.
Oh, his name is
Uni.
Oh, and his name's Uni.
Yeah. Oh, we should get our pictures made with him.
We should. I tried to take people around and like, try to find the unicorn.
Oh, that's good.
Like, wow, you've lost it.
You have not.
Yeah. So you've defined sort of what you do as the general manager in that it's almost so much it's hard to define like in an elevator pitch. Would be my guess.
I mean, I think that my job is to make sure my managers are running the department. We are about to do our manager planning for 2024. And my team doesn't even know this, but 2024 is going to be the year of connection for us. So it is how we can connect with each other, with our guests, just really elevating our service, which I think we've come a long way with. You mentioned the concierge department. We're going to put in valet. There's a lot of things that we're doing in this next year to take us to that next level. I want to never hear someone say, I went to Blackberry in the service. I want it to be, I was at the Inn at Serenbe and the service was, blew Blackberry out of the water. And I know that's happening.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry,
that's
Blackberry.
Great.
Enjoy your fame now.
Next step, Gardening magazine.
Yes.
I spoke earlier about that you have about 100 team members. I feel like you know each of them, what their families are like, what their situation is, what they're like at work, all those things. I feel like you've always done such a great job And I think it's organic for you. It's not, you don't even try hard to do it, but you always know your team members because you want to know them.
It's very kind. But I agree. It is because I want to know them. And it's kind of the way that I was brought up. I think that my parents, that was a big thing for us growing up, is to be kind. And you never know what somebody's going through. So I don't look at my team as any different from me. We all go through things, and I would hate to be the person that didn't listen on that day. So I could not make my paycheck without everyone on my team. So I'm very thankful for all of them.
Sure. I was going to ask if there's any particular, philosophy or just something, a mantra or whatever that you keep in mind, tell yourself, learn from your parents, which is kind of what it sounds like that you use, or it's just like, that's just natural to me.
I mean, I really think that comes naturally to me, and I'm grateful for that because I'm also genuinely a happy person. And people ask me all the time, why are you so happy? And I don't know. Like I really don't know. I'm very fortunate to just not have to try to be happy or to care about people. I genuinely just do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In my line of work, because it crosses with your line of work,
only when we're bad.
That's not true.
Only when we have issues do we have to get stepped.
Terrible stereotype. I tell myself a lot, just remind myself is maybe what I'll say, is assume the best, assume the best, assume the best. Because there could be a lot of the other.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of how you operate as well. Somebody's maybe seems a little off for the day, you always seem to assume the best and ask like, hey, how's it going? And not, why are you not doing X, Y, Z? You don't go for that kind of negative side of things. You always are going for the assume the best. Something's maybe going on with this person.
Yeah. And again, I wish that I could say it's this mantra and meditation that I do every morning and tell myself I'm going to go in and be the best leader I could be today. And I'm going to be there for everyone. Unfortunately, it's not that. It's just, I genuinely care about them.
Sure.
And they genuinely care about me, which I think makes it easy. I truly do have a fantastic team. A lot of them have been with me since before I even got there. First person that I met at Serenbe, Melanie, who walked me to my room, has been there for probably 7 years. Have I been there with that? Does that sound?
She's 7 or coming up on 8. Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of my team, I learn from them daily. It's kind of every day you're there, more. And there's never a point where I think I will know everything about that property. I still have to, text Garney or Steve every now and then and say, hey, was there a water line behind the treehouse? And because, it's just, who knows?
Sure.
They know.
A lot of history there.
By the way, they know.
Yeah.
Yes, they have very good memories.
Okay. So we know about you that you are a generally and genuinely happy person. I'm going to say a few other things I know about you. You may strike them from the record if you feel that you need to. You love to shop at Anthropologie.
It's a true story. I will not deny that. There's 2 stores that I really like, Anthropologie and, the grocery store that gives me more pleasure than anything in the world.
Trader Joe's.
No.
Oh, no, I do know it. It's Whole Foods.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's Whole Foods.
Yes,
I retract.
Yes, thank you. The design layout of Trader Joe's makes me angry, actually.
Well, let's talk also about the shoulder-to-shoulder people.
It's ridiculous.
In every
I don't
Trader
understand
Joe's
it.
in the Atlanta metropolitan area.
And it's a lot of processed food that people think they're doing great things when they're in there. I don't really understand Trader Joe's.
I regret my Trader Joe's. I'm so sorry. I knew it was Whole Foods. Yeah. I did know that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
But Anthropologie,
I'm going to redeem myself right now.
Okay,
are you ready?
Yep.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, yes. I was actually listening to Sherman's podcast on the way here, who was obviously on our team back in the day.
And you're also wearing their colors today.
Because it's Blue Friday. If you live in Seattle on Fridays during football season, it's called Blue Friday. Thank you for noticing that.
You're welcome.
So one of my maintenance guys was also wearing a Navy shirt, and I'm like, Blue Friday. And he's like, what? So sorry. All of my Seattle friends will understand. Speaking of Seattle friends, 2 of the people that I worked with at the Pan Pacific Hotel in Seattle, Jeff and Emma, fantastic people. They decided to come visit me in Serenbe one time, and Jeff came first. They're married now. He came for the Super Bowl, and it was in Atlanta. And he said, man, Emma's going to love this place. So she came the next time without him, which was a very crazy time where we went to the Falcons Seahawks game. It's lovely. They ended up buying a property here. So Seattle is slowly growing representation here in the neighborhood. Micah also has, and Kara have some Seattle roots because they live there.
That's right. Yeah.
We're trying to make this.
Blue Friday's really going to take off.
Yes. If everybody could please in the neighborhood wear blue, that'd make me real happy. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's maybe something that people would be surprised to know about you?
I love to cook, which maybe not that surprising. I don't really love to be around people as much as people think. I am around people a lot. So there's honestly nothing makes me happier on a Friday or Saturday night than going to my house and Gloria and I going on our screen porch, which is strategically on the second floor. So while thank you, Mr. Nygren, for making the porches so that everyone could walk by and say hello, I love that mine is on the second floor so that I can just be there, a glass of wine, maybe some football, and we talk to no one, but each other and our dogs.
Sure. Well, everybody needs that downtime.
Absolutely.
Some people more than others or more often than others. But in your position, you are basically talking or interacting with people the whole time.
Correct.
That you're at work. So it makes sense that you would need a little space to breathe.
Yes. It's lovely.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, Juliann, I've been doing a game on this podcast. I don't know if you heard when I talked with Gil Mathis. The game is like a would you rather. For Gil Mathis, it is a what's worse. For you, such a positive gal, I think it would be what's better. Do you agree?
Sure.
You agree to play?
I agree.
Okay. What's better? You're enjoying wine at the beach. It's a perfect temperature outside. Your dogs are there, but they're not barking. Gloria is there, and it feels perfect. Or the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
Seahawks win the Super Bowl. Hands down. Although the first one was also a great scenario that does happen for me in my life a lot. So I'm very thankful for that. Only the dogs probably would be barking. So it was a toss up. However, I'd like to see.
So you're choosing the one that does happen in your life a lot. I mean, doesn't happen in your life a lot.
Correct.
Yeah, because the other can. Come on, Seahawks.
Come on, Gino. You got this. Yeah. Gino, if you're listening, I believe in you still.
One question that is always asked on the Serenbe Stories podcast, and you can answer this based on if it's a guest or if it was a friend visiting from Seattle. What is your favorite thing to do at Serenbe? What would you suggest somebody else does? Like if you do nothing else, got to do this.
So I don't know if it's kind of two-part for me because my favorite thing about Serenbe is definitely the woods. I let it probably goes along with that, just being out by yourself. But I think it's the closest that I feel to the Pacific Northwest is when I'm in the woods here, but not necessarily when Jeff or Emma come into town, I'm not like, let's go to the woods, but I definitely think that you should go to the Inn at Serenbe and stay on our most expensive package and let our concierge take care of you. And I can guarantee you'll have a fantastic time.
Way to represent.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.